My plan for being a pensioner personally is to wake up super early, then drive around at rush hour really slowly, just to make people late for work.
Is that your long-term life goal?
Yeah. People used to do it to me all the time, and I've snapped. So this is the revenge
decided
arc.
to inflict some pain back into the world.
Yeah, it's my revenge arc. You see, that's what I'm scheming.
I'll buy that.
What's your plan for retirement?
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Backseat Cinema Club. I'm Callum.
I'm Jonny.
And we are without
Tim. Our overlord has decided he trusts us again. Slash can't be bothered to be here.
Slash, what is he doing? I don't know what he's doing at the moment. We need to get back ahead in the letterbox game anyway. So
this is
fine.
Or maybe we didn't tell him we were even going to film this, and we're sneakily trying to sneak an episode so we can build up score.
Allegedly, that is a possibility.
Without Tim being aware.
Yeah.
Some say.
And we'll still fail.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Is this letterbox review going to be an inside job to make sure both of us can get ahead of Tim? Who knows?
Just taking all tension out of it.
Who knows?
Yeah, nice. Anyway, so it's been a wee while since we recorded our last episode. An illness made its way through Lamplight Media.
Yeah.
Although you had a different illness to me and Tim, I think.
I had some flavour of the Great Plague of the Lamp.
Right. Yeah.
Which is what we're going to call it now.
Tim and I were ravaged by sickness bug, and it was not good. I mean, yeah.
I remember seeing you on set at the shoot.
KFC shoot.
Yeah, he was not the wellest human being I've ever seen.
I did. I turned up. I did my job. I did nothing else other than my job. and even that part is debatable.
Then it was like, okay, goodbye,
Yeah.
we're off.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah. So yeah, this was meant to be filmed last Thursday?
Last Thursday, yeah. So we're actually
last Wednesday.
We're going to have to film this one, and
Wednesday.
then in very quick succession next week film another one, just to get back on.
God.
Get back on the schedule. Yeah.
Letterbox reviews need to be pumped out.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what have we been up to? Jonny, you've been away on someone else's project. Do you want to talk about that?
Indeed. So for a change, I've decided I'm going to take my face for radio, and I'm going to go in front of camera for a change. A very good friend of Lamplight Media, Mr. Max Becken. He's acted in a few of my shorts. He's a wonderful guy. He was directing a music video for an artist he knows, and he asked for a bunch of us, like some of his mates, to come and be extras. So I thought, you know what? I have a free day. I will come and be an extra for Max Becken. So it was very like Y2K themed. It was in a club. Well, kind of like set as if it was in a club. So I was busting out some of me dancing moves.
Oh, I wish I was there to see that.
Mate, honestly, like I'm excited to see if any of my dad dancing makes the final cut in the end. But yeah, so it was a nice change being in front of camera.
Yeah.
I'm reminded why I love being behind camera, because it's just it's so relaxing when you're behind camera. It's like okay, the second the lights are set and everything's going, it's just like it becomes everyone else's problem at that point. It's quite nice. Yeah, it was wonderful to see Max again. He's an absolute pro at his job. He's a great actor, wonderful director, and yeah.
Good. I didn't know he directed as well. That is very interesting.
He's a man of many talents.
I did get that vibe from him. And he's got like a good energy for keeping like positive vibes on a set. I can see that. So
yeah,
that's fun. That sounds really fun. Yeah, I mean, in terms of Lamplight, we had a shoot with the British Action Academy, which was their gun rush course, which was a great success.
Can't go that way.
Nah. You can't go either way, to be honest. He's turning in, that's fine. Oh yeah, that is a demo. Yeah, we had a shoot with the British Action Academy on their gun rush course. We finished off this big Surrey County Council job, so that's now all in post-production. So yeah, it's ticking over nicely. In terms of our topics for this week, the first thing we want to talk about, and it's kind of just an excuse for us to talk about Dune really.
Yeah.
But,
we love Dune here.
Warner Brothers have released the trailer for Dune Prophecy, which is the prequel miniseries, and that will be coming out on HBO Max. So, Jonny, based on that trailer, what do we think the story is?
So, I'm not aware. Is it based on one of the books? Kind of, there's like 4.5 million books in the Dune universe.
It is not.
It is not. It's an original story.
The books in the Dune series, although they get into the lore of what has happened.
Yeah, it's all like
it's all post the events of Dune.
Post Lisan Algate.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So,
I go left here.
fine.
So yeah, I mean, it was very interesting seeing they're all talking about the beginning of the Bene Gesserits. As you said, someone on the internet called it. You said it was
the origin story of the Spice Girls. Yeah.
which is a wonderful name. I can't lie. But yeah, it's more Dune content. I'm a happy man with. So
Yes.
and like photographically. Sorry, we're both very tired right now. So do forgive. But photographically, I thought it looks very interesting. It's their use of these kind of really like close-up macro shots, just to show like, because I mean, I've started listening to the first Dune book, the audiobook for it on Audible.
Oh, and all the internal monologues.
Which I can't like. It's been actually to sidetrack quickly. I've really appreciated the fact that certain stuff like that and that isn't in the movie. It's like how much Denny left out, because it means like the films work by themselves, and it's very much an adaptation of the book, the movie, because like characters feel different, events and the plot are different, and that's not a bad thing. Like it's a good thing if anything, because it's well adapted and it's very faithful to like the feel of Dune. But like as you said, the book is very big on internal like. Just like internal monologue, people talking about their feelings, how they interpret like everything. So I guess that using those kind of more close-up shots, because I assume that's maybe what it's going to be representing, is a very interesting way of showing that.
Yeah, there's more space in a TV series to get into those little minutiae. I mean, yeah, the films are a very authentic depiction of that world.
Yeah.
But the characters are tweaked and the events are tweaked, but not in a really drastic way. So yeah, what I am a little bit concerned about is it going to ruin the fun and spoil the novelty of Dune, because we'll start to get lots of Dune content, not all of it of the really high quality that the films are.
I mean, we haven't seen Prophecy yet, so we can't comment on how good it's going to be or not. Like, is it going to ruin the aura that surrounds Dune currently?
That's what I'm worried about.
I mean, I'm having faith in everyone involved, because like it takes more than just one person to make a film or something good. So it's not just Denny that is the reason it's good. It requires obviously Denny. I can't remember the name of the guy he wrote the movies with. But having like a studio like Warner's, they need to be in the right place as a studio to accept a film like Dune being made like that. So I like to think that it's going to be good.
I sincerely hope so. Also got Emily Watson in it, and she generally is quite good at picking a good script. I think the last thing I saw her in was Chernobyl, which is a long time ago now, over 5 years ago. But yeah, it's got all the marks of quality. I think it's just going to be interesting to see this, a TV show that is trying to depict this world, and its starting point for depicting this world is the films and the visual language and production design of those films, which is exceptional. Is of a quality and consistency in realizing a fictional world that probably hasn't been seen since something like Lord of the Rings. And diluting that down into a TV series, I think will probably be fine.
But it's a very high bar they've set. I mean, I'm not sure from like a production design standpoint how many people are on Prophecy that were on part 2 or like part 1. I don't know.
I think it's similar creative oversight. And the other thing is, and this is the part I'm much more concerned about, because of course we have the Game of Thrones example, is deviating from source material. I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a kind of purist kind of way. I just mean it in the potential for something to go wrong is increased.
But I mean, either way, more Dune content is a good thing. As we, just from this standpoint, we can talk about Dune more. Like I had my Dune Part 2 Blu-ray, well, my Steelbook arrive last week, so smacked in, watched it again. That was my first time seeing it not in a 70mm IMAX. I saw it twice at the IMAX in London, which was splendid, and just seeing it as a letterbox format, because for some reason on the Blu-ray they haven't released it as IMAX height, which I assume is something that they're doing.
So it's not like a Nolan Blu-ray where it snaps in between?
It's not, which I assume is something they're doing so they can put on HBO Max as the IMAX version.
Interesting.
To get subscribers on there, I'm not sure.
Interesting.
But either way, even Letterboxd, glorious. Like, the film is so good. We haven't had a chance to talk about it on here.
No, we kind of missed its release a bit. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's one of the best films of 2024.
2020s.
And I think,
in general.
yeah, I mean, I think the Dune franchise represents something new and radical in the way that Lord of the Rings did in the early 2000s, where it was like something that had been thought to have been unfilmable, that has had several attempts to be made.
Someone just went, hold my beer.
Someone just went, hold on a minute, let's just, right.
And then absolutely smashed it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I don't think Dune Prophecy is going to be to Dune what, like, the Rings of Power is to Lord of the Rings. I think it will be I think it will be much more aligned. I think it will be much more coherent in terms of itself and its relation to the films. The reason it exists.
Yeah.
And I think if you're going to do, I think they have thought about which story they want to tell, and I think they've decided that the Bene Gesserit represent the most interesting story they can tell for like a thriller drama TV series.
I mean, there's so much lore in Dune, like the amount of world building that even just from reading that first book, you can sense that there just is that hasn't been shown on screen yet.
I can't remember how far they go in the first book with all these things, because obviously the context behind the world of Dune is it's many tens of thousands of years into the future of the human race, but it is our world.
Yeah,
there are no aliens, no nothing, just the weird messed up things that humans have achieved through years of space exploration. What has happened in this roundabout?
Really good indicator from that
guy. Where do we want to go? Let's go this way for a bit. It's many tens of thousands of years into the future, and there's the only like defining event is this big war between thinking machines, as they are called, computers, and humanity, and that's why like the world is the way it is. As by the time we get to Paul Atreides' story, but we're going like 10,000 years before that. In Dune Prophecy, it's going to be so detached from the story we've seen in the films. I mean, that might be a good thing.
Yeah, I was going to say it's going to give them the freedom where they don't feel like they're tied down to like, we have to keep in mind what's going to happen in Dune Messiah. We can't show this because we may not want to spoil that.
They don't have that problem.
Yeah, they can kind of just go like, well, 10,000 years, it's so separate, it's so different. Kind of do whatever you want.
No, I agree with that. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. I think it will probably be good.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real.
Yeah, it will.
But I'm not. It's medium risk. I'm gonna say.
But just as an overall W, it's more Dune content. So more Dune content is. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Dune Messiah, whenever that's going to be, I believe. Mr. Denny has said he's going to make another film beforehand.
And then he's going to stop. And he does seem to have drawn a pretty firm line in the sand about stopping after Messiah, which I think, having read the books, I think is the correct choice.
Yeah.
Children of Dune, there is an adaptation of Children of Dune done by the Sci-Fi Channel from the early 2000s, and it is good, but you just can't keep going. Yeah, you can't. By the time you get to like Chapter House Dune, it's like, just stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's identified the end point of the end of Paul Atreides' story at the end of Dune Messiah, and correctly realised that you stop there, basically.
Based as fuck.
What will be interesting to see is what he does next. Do you reckon he'll be like, I'm done with science fiction for a bit?
Nah.
Really?
Nah.
Just
look at his run of just how much sci-fi he's making. He loves it.
I know. But by the time he's done Messiah, he'll have his last 5 films have been science fiction films, or are you just like, that's there? Yeah.
I mean, like he's always said, like he never came back like to sci-fi as like a recent thing. He went away from it earlier in his career, and now he's kind of coming back to it.
Now he's doing
like,
it.
This is his thing. He said he loves it. I mean, obviously he'll make other films.
Yeah.
So it's like he's done like Prisoners, Sicario, stuff like that before. That's not sci-fi. So he'll do stuff like that again. You might want to go left, as this is quite a detour. I mean, you can go straight ahead.
We've still got quite a way to go.
Right, fine. What was I saying about Denny?
Yeah, were you just giving Denny a tongue bath? That's per.
Yeah, man.
It's not unjustified.
100%. He's on fire. Like the run he's on is stupid. It's like There's few filmmakers I can think of right now that are just as untouchable as Denny is.
His weakest film, I would allege, is probably Enemy. And even then, that's still pretty good.
It's a good film. It's not a bad film. It's a really good film.
And then everything else above that is like better than most films.
Yeah, I mean, a filmmaker has like a good filmography when you can look back at any of their films other than maybe like one or two.
Well,
and anyone who says like, this is my favorite film from this person, you go, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And he's one of those people. It's like whether someone's favorite film is Dune Part 1, Dune Part 2, Sicario, Prisoners, Blade Runner, Arrival. I'm like, yeah, that's fair. I have nothing to say about that. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we often say we say this about Nolan.
Yeah.
The weakest films in his filmography are better than most films most people will ever make.
Yeah.
And actually, I would argue Denny's actually got a higher. Clearly, he's not been in the game as long, but he's got his run of consistency is actually probably higher than Nolan's. At this stage.
Yeah, it's a case of how, because I mean, Nolan's been making since the early 2000s. Like, bro's been around, and to have been on like a streak that long.
Yeah.
Is
well, I would allege it's not a streak. But well, it's an argument for another time.
Indeed.
Cool. So, and then the other thing is, Jonny, you've been out. You've been out in the world and doing things. And
I have, as the kids would say, touched grass.
In your travels, you saw a certain film that's come out.
Yeah.
Called
Mad Max. Well, no, Furiosa, Mad Max Saga.
Yeah.
I do believe it's called.
So, and this is my contribution to this because Jonny is basically going to review the film for us, so I'm going to do the context.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yes,
so,
I'd agree.
Basically, the Mad Max saga, it began as effectively a B movie called Mad Max. It was made in Australia in the late 1970s by George Miller.
Mm-hmm.
It evolved into a very successful action film franchise with Mad Max: The Road Warrior and Beyond Thunderdome. And then George Miller's ambition of the kind of films he wanted to make sort of outstripped the filmmaking resources that were available at the time. He had the idea as early as the mid to late 80s that he wanted to do a Mad Max film that was basically just a really big chase sequence.
Yeah.
And that was in production hell until the mid 2010s, and we got to Mad Max Fury Road, which is, I think we can agree, one of the greatest action films ever made.
Films ever made.
Yeah.
Stop.
I vividly remember seeing it for the first time as like a 14-year-old and just thinking, wow, this is, this is exhilarating.
I think one of the craziest things about Fury Road when it came out was it was so unlike everything else. Like the film visually looked just wild. The way it was shot was wild. It was like everything. It also feels like every trope people are saying about how you shoot good action, they kind of just went like, and just pulled it off anyway, because everyone always, because it was like the period back then where everyone hated action that was like fast cut, everyone liked slow cut action. They just went, how about we just cut really fast between everything and it's still going to work.
Yeah, well, they sort of demonstrated that there is a middle ground.
Editing wasn't the problem.
Yeah,
with it.
I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Fury Road.
Yeah.
There are visual choices in it I don't like. There are some shots that are like really deliberately artificial in the way they're composed and the way the camera moves through everything.
Yeah.
But like any like big wide,
just of all time.
Yeah, I know. Any like big wide that's just demoing the practical effects. I'm just gonna play it safe here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fair gap anyway.
Yeah. Any big wide that is basically just demoing the practical effects for me in that film, like the Brothers in Arms bike chase sequence, anything like that, is just phenomenal. And I think Charlize Theron is good. I think all the cast are good.
Yeah, everyone's good in that movie.
I don't get why Tom Hardy gives himself grief over that performance either. I think he's fine.
Yeah, I think he's good. I feel like he holds himself to a very high standard. It's kind of the impression that I can receive from Mr. Hardy. And everyone is their own biggest critic after all. So, yeah. So, I like him in the movie.
Yeah. Although apparently Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron were just arguing the entire time, like they did not get on. Apparently, but that isn't
niche.
A huge surprise. But anyway, but the film itself was production hell. Apparently.
Yeah.
But we got a really great film out of it. Now, 10 years after that, for it is nearly 10 years after that.
Time flies, though.
We now have a prequel to Fury Road, which sort of is leaning into what what George Miller always wanted the franchise to be, which is sort of a series of stories from this world that are sort of like legends and myths from this apocalyptic wasteland. And one of those is the story of Furiosa. Jonny, how is it?
It is a good movie. I think Fury Road is better, but it's a very high bar. And Anya Taylor-Joy is, as usual, amazing in the movie. She has a scene with Chris Hemsworth towards the end of the movie. I won't give any spoilers. If you've seen it, it is in a big action movie. It is them. It's just two people talking, and it is my favourite scene in the movie. It's both their performances in that were spectacular. I won't say any more because it's spoilers because you need to see it. But yeah, I just did find it very interesting that leaving it, my favourite scene from the big Mad Max action movie was two people just talking. But yeah, the overall film itself, I prefer, the action in Fury Road. I think that's the thing that sets it apart to me. There's just something about some of the action in Furiosa that just feels a bit artificial and cartoonish. And I do believe that I read some of the I don't know if this is true or not. It's probably just internet. Could be internet hearsay, but someone was saying that George Miller intended Furiosa to be like an animated movie at first.
I do remember hearing something about that. Yeah.
So I do wonder whether like part of it is he's trying to like infuse kind of that kind of feeling into it. If so, then but I couldn't say. But yeah, there was just something about the action that wasn't quite clicking with me. Like it was still, it wasn't bad, but like it fails, I think, to capture kind of the magic and the lightning that Fury Road has.
Very diplomatically put. That was my first thing I was going to ask about, is visually, is it lightning in the bottle in the same way that Fury Road is?
I don't think so. At least to me it wasn't.
Okay.
I found myself checking my watch during the movie, which is like, when that happens, that's kind of, but like, I think it's not, the movie feels really long. It's like 2.5 hours, I think, but it felt like 3 hours. And part of that, I enjoy movies that feel like that, because like, if you pay to go to the cinema, give me my money's worth, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I want to feel like I'm.
Yeah, neither of us subject to long films.
Yeah. But the movie feels long. There is a lot of film in that film. There is a lot of plot in that film.
Okay, more plot than Fury Road. Well,
Yeah.
I'm guessing unlike Fury Road, it's not one big chase sequence.
Yeah,
so.
it's not. I mean, it's showing Furiosa's whole kind of origin story about how did she get to where she is at the beginning of Fury Road. It kind of goes from like the start of Furiosa to there. And
Okay, does it go right up to like Rogue One? Does it go right up to Fury Road?
Yeah,
it does.
right up to. And then it ends there.
Interesting.
So the context is all very interesting to get. I do want to watch Fury Road again after having received this context from it, and just kind of see how I feel about just everyone's characters in it.
How's Chris?
He's good. He's having a great time in that movie. You can tell he was having fun. He is chewing every sand dune.
I was going to ask, is
he comes into sight with, and
chomping on bits of the set.
He's having a great time with it. But the thing is, like, even though like the performance is big and it's like chewy and it's like he's having fun with it, when he has to get serious, he does. And like, hence me saying the conversation scene that him and Furiosa have towards the end of the movie. He very much, even though he's still being big, he's still kind of, as I said, eating everything in sight. He's very, how he manages to just put in these serious moments, or have things that feel like they're not, or like just have moments that feel sincere, I think is
a prosthetic nose distracting?
No. I mean, when I first saw it, I went, is that Chris Hemsworth? That is Chris Hemsworth. Because like, I make a kind of...
You're not a trailers man, are you?
I'm not a trailers guy. Because I had too many movies where I've like been so excited about them, and I've watched the trailer like 50,000 times. And I've gone into the movie and like all the cool shots have already been spoiled for me, and I'm like, oh, okay. So from that, I made a vow not to watch trailers. And then we decided to start a podcast where we talk about trailers. So, yeah, that is, I think, everything I can say spoiler-free about Mad Max. It's worth your ticket. It's worth watching. Like the criticisms I'm throwing at it is like, this is in comparison to, I mean, I called it one of the greatest movies ever made, Fury Road, because I believe it is.
So this is still a very, very good film.
This is still a very, very good film, but Fury Road is better. I think a lot of it depends as to what you're going into the movie wanting. Like, expectation is a hugely like dictates how you enjoy a movie. Like what you go into a film looking for, what you go in wanting. You know, depending on what the film gives you or not, it's whether you'll be kind of happy about it or not. But the film is much more character focused than Fury Road is. I mean,
that's interesting,
obviously considering it's called Furiosa, it's named after.
It's named after character. I would not allege that Fury Road is not character focused.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying it's not, but it's the degree is like you go to Fury Road and you're going into it for the action. You're watching Furiosa for Furiosa's story. I'll say that.
Okay.
So like part of it, I went into Furiosa being like, oh, I'm getting another Mad Max Fury Road, and I was like, Fairground Road.
It was like part of Fairground.
So yeah, I went into Furiosa thinking I was going to get another Mad Max, and it's not that, and that's not a bad thing. It's just for my personal perception, I went into it being like, action, going to see cool action, and there'll be some character stuff, but I'm here for the action. And the film is that if you go into the film wanting character stuff, you'll be happy.
You'll be happy, but it's still, I mean, it's still got the source. That Fury Road has. Just
the film is.
It's a different blending of those elements of that world.
Yeah.
With more emphasis. Yeah, I mean.
The film is not sterile. I'll say that. It has that edge to it. It's abrasive in the right ways. The score is energetic. It's pumping. The sound design is loud. It is pumping. The film is like it is running at 11 the whole time. But it was just missing something that Fury Road had. That after one watch, I can't put my finger on exactly what it was. But,
nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, time for everyone's favourite game. Let's go. Are you ready? You went first last time.
I don't know.
You know your theory about how we'd get more energy as we went through this episode?
I think we have. I just think we haven't noticed it yet. You go first.
All right.
I can't bother to go first, so you can do it.
Okay. This is the Letterboxd review game where Jonny and I have gone onto Letterboxd and found some reviews that will be for a particular film. We will then copy the review and find another film that it could feasibly be for and make the other person guess which film it's for because we like playing mind games, basically. Also, Letterboxd is messed up. So, my first review is, I wonder if Margot Robbie's back hurts from carrying the entire film. Is this a review of Suicide Squad or The Big Short? To clarify, the first Suicide Squad, not
the first one.
Not the Suicide.
Yeah, the first one. I don't know if she carried the first Suicide Squad. I feel like the trailer carried the first Suicide Squad.
I think
that's not good. I haven't seen The Big Short in bloody years. That's the one about the
it's about the 2008
financial crisis. Yeah.
You're right. The trailer did carry this. So Bohemian Rhapsody did carry this.
Unbelievable trailer. The hype around that movie after that trailer was biblical.
Such a shame.
Anyway, I'm gonna go with Suicide Squad.
You're incorrect. It is The Big Short. Even though she's in it for 30 seconds, she does carry it.
Fine. Fine. Okay, my first one. Ooh, which one should we go with? Okay, we'll go with this one. The review is his Fitbit numbers would have been through the roof. Is this for Robert Zemeckis' 1994 movie Forrest Gump or Sam Mendes' 2019 movie 1917?
His Fitbit numbers
would have been through the roof.
What do these films have in common other than a man doing lots of running? Okay, so basically, do I think a personal letterbox?
I think Forrest Gump's Fitbit would have been crazier, or two guys running through World War I to deliver a letter. Shot by Roger Deakins.
But it's his. So it's a point in the film where there's one guy, but when he's on his own, he is.
Yeah.
So do I think Letterboxd reviewers think it's funnier to make a joke about a soldier in the First World War having a Fitbit?
Or Forrest
Gump from the mid-90s?
I low-key rate both of the concepts.
Having a Fitbit.
I was thinking about what happened if they had Fitbits in Tenet when I was putting this together. This is completely unrelated.
How does inversing the entropy of a Fitbit work?
But the thing is, it's if you go into the turnstile with a Fitbit, it would count your steps forwards for you when you're inverted. But if you put on a Fitbit that was inverted, when you're inverted, you put on a Fitbit that's not inverted, and it would have the number of steps on it, and every step you did, it would just tick them off, so you knew exactly how many steps you were going to do in the next 24 hours.
Oh.
This is why I love Tenet.
Oh.
The free will question of Tenet. The free will question of Tenet is why
Okay.
the movie's so interesting.
Okay.
Sorry, that's
It's a shame. It's a shame they couldn't write any characters in it. Anyway, I'm gonna go with 1917.
You are correct. It's
Yes!
1917.
Nice. Okay. My next review
Bits
is.
in Tenet. That's a short.
Yeah. Save that. Bank that.
Yeah.
We just got to find something we can use as a turnstile. My next review is this movie. This movie has the raw energy of a PlayStation 2 game. Is this a review of?
It's a good review.
Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest, or Spider-Man 2?
Dead Man's Chest is the second Pirates of the Caribbean.
It is. It's the first one with Davy Jones.
Yeah.
Do you fear death?
Do you fear death? Oh, that's such a good character. Such a good quote as well. I'm thinking about the poster of Spider-Man 2, and that's why I want to say Spider-Man 2, because it has the most I'm a PS2 game poster, and I mean that as a compliment.
But is it not the case that PlayStation 2 games became defined by the Spider-Man 2 PlayStation 2?
So is
it the chicken or the egg?
Yeah. Which came first, the turnstile or the?
Oh, stop! Stop! Not everything's about Tenet.
Purely because of the poster.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Spider-Man 2.
You are correct. It is Spider-Man 2. I was trying to think of like another film that had the most PlayStation 2 energy.
And
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean does.
But-
I'd argue the first Pirates of the Caribbean is more PS2-y because actually no, because the second one's the third one's the one with where they're having all the ships enter the
Whirlpool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the third. That's at World's End.
Yeah.
That was still the most expensive film ever made, adjusted for inflation.
How much?
Like 350 in 2008, so about 500 now.
I mean, it's a good movie, so you know what?
No, what, at World's End?
Yeah, I enjoy it. I love all three Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
There is only one good Pirates of the Caribbean film.
Okay, the second one is still good.
It's possible. I had this argument with my flatmate Oscar all the time. Only the first one is good.
The first one is a genuine, like, one of the best movies of all time. It's a masterpiece. Like, it's unbelievable.
I would shit talk everything other than the first one, basically. But we can have an Interstellar debate. We can have a Tenet debate.
The thing is, we've said we can have. Why don't we just have it?
Maybe next episode.
Maybe next
we'll
next
start
episode.
the debates next episode.
Yeah, we'll start them. Why not? Because we've been saying we're going to do it, and we just haven't done it. So.
We've got three possible. We've got Pirates of the Caribbean, we've got Tenet, got Interstellar. We'll think about it. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be more.
Your next review, please, sir.
Right, this one is Sin City for Chads. Is it?
It must be Sin City.
Is it? Is it for Ridley Scott's 19? Sorry, I'm so tired. I can't even read numbers. 1982 movie Blade Runner, or is it for George Miller's 1998 movie Babe Pig in the City? For context, the plot of Babe Pig in the City is Babe, fresh from his victory in the sheep herding contest, returns to his Farmer Hoggett's farm. But after Farmer Hoggett is injured and unable to return to work, Babe has to go to the big city to save the farm. I figured you don't need the plot of Blade Runner, do you?
No. Blade Runner has a plot? Anyway.
Yeah, it's called Rainbow.
Yeah.
It's all about vibes, man.
Okay. Do you know, I've watched the first Babe film like dozens of times when I was a kid, and I've never seen Babe 2 Pig in the City. But I know about it because of the memes.
Yeah.
Babe 2 Pig in the City is my answer.
You're correct.
Yeah.
It is indeed.
What are our scores at the moment? I guess I'm on 7.
Yeah.
And you're on
1 probably.
4 or 5.
Fast bet that I thought I was.
Okay.
This has not been a good episode for me score-wise, I'll say that for free.
This next review is... Because originally we were going to be talking about Megalopolis in this. How much do you know about Megalopolis?
I've seen the trailer.
Okay.
And I'm aware of some of the reviews.
Bro heard about the Roman Empire and thinks he's Julius Caesar. Is this a review of Megalopolis or Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes?
Can we talk about how good the Planet of the Apes movies are at the moment?
They are.
They are the most slept on movies currently going.
They are good. That is a
Other than
solid
Tenet.
franchise. Shut up. It's a solid franchise. I think the problem is, I genuinely think that the problem is the first one has James Franco in it, and that taints everything else. I think people see the first one as a James Franco film and they're like, oh. And then even though like the second one's got like Gary Oldman in it and it's great, and the third one's great.
Gary Oldman loves being just invisible in roles, doesn't he?
He does.
What was the craziest movie that you found Gary Oldman was in that you were like? Because for me, when I found out he was Sirius Black, I was like, what?
What? What do you mean? I
couldn't believe it. I was like, that's Gary Oldman. I was like, fucking hell,
I
it's
think
Commissioner Gordon right there.
I think Darkest Hour is quite a pantomime of a film. I think it's quite a silly film, so that surprises me. But I get why he did that. I mean, he won Best Actor for it, so like.
Yeah.
Wackiest Gary Oldman. No, Air Force One. That's like, that's like Gary Oldman playing like a Hans Gruberish villain. It just seems like he's such a classy actor, and it's just not a classy role.
He used to do loads of villains back in the 90s, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that was the peak of that.
Yeah. He's the absolute CEO of, you watch a movie and go, holy fuck, and you see the credit, you see Gary Oldman, you're like, Gary Oldman wasn't it? Like, he's so good at just like, it's such a compliment to him as an actor. He just disappears.
I enjoy his 3 minutes in Oppenheimer as well. I
know I'm tired, but
Truman.
Oh fuck yeah! I mean, like,
did you forget he was him?
I've seen Oppenheimer so much. Of course he's Truman. Yeah, well that's what I'm saying. When I first watched Oppenheimer, I saw the credits and just went, "What?"
I knew it was him.
Gary Oldman's in this movie.
I knew it was him because I'd heard that he'd been on set for like one day.
Yeah. He's ridiculous. He's the king. Shouts Gary Oldman.
He's the king. Oh, right, okay, I'm getting tired. Pick.
What's the review?
Is it?
It was Air Force One or what?
Bro, no, it wasn't. Bro heard about the Roman Empire and thinks he's Julius Caesar.
That's a cool dude right there. Sorry.
Is it Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes?
Yeah.
Or Megalopolis?
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
In which both the main characters are Caesar.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Is that your guess?
Yes.
Correct.
Thank you. I was sat like, no way he's been as basic as to just open up the letterbox for Megalopolis and just go like, let me just pick one of the reviews out of here and just say, well, because we were talking about Megalopolis, you might not think it is.
Oh, that was supposed to be a misdirect. I thought you'd go for Megalopolis based on that.
I'm sorry to say.
No.
I also had a little browse through the reviews for Megalopolis in preparation for this episode.
Oh, okay.
Because I was pretty new on myself.
Fair enough.
So, unfortunately.
So we
sorry, mate.
We found each other. What we're saying is we found each other in the comment section. Like true bros.
Well, I see you there, bro. I see you there.
Okay, what's your final one?
Dude really just wanted to surf. Is this for Catherine Bigelow's 1991 movie Point Break or Francis Ford Coppola's 1979 movie Apocalypse Now?
Dude really just wanted to surf.
So, Point Break is about, the criminals that go, the surfers that go criminal. And they love surfing in the Apocalypse Now.
I've never seen. I know about Point Break. I've never seen Point Break.
Yeah.
I have seen Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Apocalypse Now.
You're correct. It was Apocalypse Now. That's 3 for 3, man.
Yeah.
I like to think you've ingested every review on Letterboxd.
Yeah, I am. I've got 8 points. I'm level on points with Tim.
That is the only dub. My enemy's enemy is my friend. So it appears when our friends come.
Okay. Good to know after 5 years. No, we're 6 years. We're now friends.
No, 5 years. 2019.
2019. Okay,
I was going to say, it's surely not that long already.
You look genuinely disturbed.
I was
when
like,
said that.
No, honestly, some of my friends, I'm like, we've known each other for 20 years. I'm like,
please shut up. Don't say that. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, how many points do you have? You started this episode on 4 points.
And I have 5 points because I got one correct.
So it's now 5-8-8. Tim, coming to get you.
It's coming for you, Tim. I'm not coming for any of you guys at this point. I've given up hope. Doesn't mean I'm not going to stop trying. I will still play for vibes.
No, sounds good. All right, I think that's just for this episode. That's us for this episode, isn't it?
Sounds good.
Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.
Adios.
Go move to the Scottish Highlands with a significant other and never see a single person ever again in my life.
Have some dogs.
Have some dogs.
Walk the hounds as they have.
Yeah.
You leave us call them the hounds.
Basically become a member of the landed Scottish gentry and that's it. And just shoot at anyone who comes near my house.